The men's cross-country team makes history.
And conference title hunts are in progress.
All that and more coming up on All Access. Welcome to All Access, the show that is your home for all things Rowan Athletics. I'm Derek Hill.
And I'm Cody Decker. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste any time. We'll begin today with some exciting news from the cross-country course. Derek?
Thanks, Cody. The Rowan men's cross-country won the NJAC championship on Saturday at Stockton University. The Profs' 23rd title in program history is their first since 1993, and it ended TCNJ's 23-year reign as champions. Kevin Veltri won the individual championship in the 8K race with a time of 24 minutes, 38.06 seconds. He is the 24th prof in history to win the race. The team win was by 4 points, beating out the Lions. Top 20 finishers included Dan Henry, who finished second, Jose Figueroa, who finished 9th, Nick Nacco, who finished 11th, Matt Russo, who finished 13th, and Alec Trapani, who finished 17th. The team has moved up to 4th in the Atlantic Region ranking and has entered the top 25 nationally at number 25.
The Rowan women's cross-country team finished 4th in their NJAC championship 6K race. They had 3 finishers in the top 20, including Jennifer Clavens in 12th, Hannah Vendetta in 16th, and Emily Acton in 17th. Other finishers included Jess Nugent in 24th, Gina Capone in 29th, Brianna Dela Cruz in 37th, and Alyssa Sanders in 38th.
The men's soccer team faced Stockton University yesterday in the NJAC tournament semifinals. The game was scoreless through regulation and the majority of 2 overtimes until this happened.
Take the corner kick. Checkers coming over.
9, 8, 7.
They punch it away. One more chance. Curtin. No.
3.
Connors is on this side. He gets the rebound. Kicks it. Oh, goal! It's good! Connors with the game winner on the near side. The Profs move on. The Profs are going to the NJAC championship final.
Connors hits the game winner at nearly the last moment, and the top-seeded Profs advance to the NJAC championship game against number 2 seed Rutgers Newark on Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Rowan Soccer Complex.
The women's soccer team suffered a heartbreaking loss in the NJAC semifinals against Montclair State University. The game ended in a scoreless draw after 2 overtimes, but the Redhawks advanced 4-2 on penalty kicks. Forward Melissa Kelly and midfielder Dara Wagner each scored penalty kicks for the Profs. Rowan will have to wait until Monday, November 6th to see if they receive an at-large bid to the NCAA Division III Championship Tournament. The National Tournament Selection Show is at 1 p.m. on ncaa.com.
Dana DeVincent's propelled the Rowan field hockey team to a 2-1 victory over Stockton on Saturday afternoon. The goal came with 4 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. Midfielder Julie Johnson, who scored the first goal for the Profs, had the ball at the top of the circle. She spun around the defender and sent the ball towards the front of the cage where DeVincent's was there to deposit it past the goalkeeper. Rowan finishes NJAC play with a 4-2 record and will be seeded 3rd in the conference tournament, where they would take on 2nd seed TCNJ on Wednesday night in the NJAC semifinals.
And the field hockey team entered the NJAC semifinals to take on TCNJ in Ewing, New Jersey on Wednesday night. The Profs came up short with a 4-3 loss. Rachel Galante got it started for Rowan with her 14th goal of the season in the 7th minute. Julie Johnson and Nikki Kotel-Nicki each added a goal for apiece for Rowan. TCNJ was led by one of their top scorers on the season, Tori Tiefenthaler, who added her 16th and 17th goal on the season in the win for TCNJ. The Profs are 13-6 on the season.
Now for a look in the world of pro sports. Here's Chris Devine with this week's Pro Talk.
Greetings everybody and welcome to this week's edition of Pro Talk. I'm your host, Chris Devine, recapping the top stories of what is going on in the always busy world of professional sports. For the first time ever, the Houston Astros are your World Series champions. The Astros won the do-or-die Game 7 in Los Angeles last night by a final score of 5-1 behind an unstoppable pitching performance and the ever-trusted bat of George Springer. Houston jumped on Yu Darvish early, springing out to a 5-0 lead in the second inning. It's all the run support that they needed as the Astros pitching staff held the Dodgers to just 1 run and stranding 10 runners on base. This title comes at the right time as the city of Houston is still rebuilding from the devastation of Hurricane Harvey just a few months ago. All aboard, the J train is coming to South Philly. Miami Dolphins running back Jay Ajayi is now an Eagle after the Pro Bowler was traded to Philly hours before the deadline on Tuesday. Philadelphia only gave up a 4th-round draft pick next year for Ajayi. Ajayi has struggled a bit so far this year, primarily due to a lack of playing time, which was a concern that Miami head coach Adam Gase admitted that Ajayi was very outspoken about. The Eagles say that the negative locker room attitude that he had in Miami will not carry over into the tight-knit chemistry of the Philly locker room. Ajayi, who is a known downhill power runner as well as a complimentary pass protector, joins a running back core with another downhill runner in LeGarrette Blount. Blount and Ajayi are 2 of the 7 running backs that have rushed for at least 1,600 yards since 2016. With this trade, the Eagles are making it very clear that they have every intention of making a serious run at a Super Bowl title this year. And finally, to the octagon we go as UFC 217 emanates from Madison Square Garden this Saturday night, with the top of the card featuring the return of MMA legend Georges St. Pierre as he takes on middleweight champion Michael Bisping, the UFC's all-time leader in wins. St. Pierre hasn't stepped in the octagon since 2013 when he was in the middle of a 12-fight win streak. The other big fight on the stacked card is the world's #1 pound-for-pound fighter Joanna Jędrzejczyk defending her strawweight title against Rose Namajunas. It's going to be a fight-filled night from New York City that all MMA fans will want to watch. That's all I have for you on this week's Pro Talk. Later, Cody and Derek have the latest on the women's volleyball team, but coming up after the break, Michael sits down with members of the Rowan football team for this week's Rowan Roundtable, so stay tuned for more All Access.
Welcome back to All Access. It's time for our Rowan Roundtable. Joining me today are Anthony Diorio and JJ Colsar of the football team. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks a lot for having us.
All right, so we'll start off with some college football talk today. It's almost through the college football season so far. You have some top Heisman finalists: Saquon Barkley, the running back from Penn State; Josh Adams, running back from Notre Dame; Bryce Love, another running back from Stanford; Baker Mayfield, quarterback from Oklahoma, just to name a few. Who do you guys have as your finalists so far through the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think Saquon Barkley is going to win it all. I mean, it's not even his running back ability. It's his all-purpose yards, everything he does with returning the ball. So I think he's a complete back, and I think he wasn't really known from the beginning of the season, and now he's one of the top guys in the nation.
How about you?
I'd say Baker Mayfield. I don't know if it's necessarily the stats. I might be a little biased just because I like him as a person. I just like his no-care attitude. I just think that he goes hard every play, care less what people think. And probably the best play in college football, I think, so far was when he spiked the Oklahoma flag in the Ohio State's midfield.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a tough choice. You know, Saquon's been playing really well. If I had a choice, I think I'd maybe go with Bryce Love from Stanford. I don't think he gets a lot of attention out on the West Coast over here. So, but good topics. Again, with college football, it's almost through the season so far. Alabama is probably destined to win another national championship. It seems like they win every year. Can somebody upset them like Deshaun Watson did of Clemson last year, or do you guys see them ultimately winning it again?
We'll see what happens. I know we still have Alabama-Auburn before they even get to the SEC championship. I think Auburn's a great team that could potentially upset them. And if they do lose that game, they have to play Georgia in the SEC championship, then they might have 2 losses and might not even make it to the playoffs. But it is Alabama, and there's a good chance they'll win it again.
Yeah, just like Ant said, Auburn, Alabama, you know, it's a rivalry game, so anything can happen. So, but I do think Alabama, like every year, is a clear-cut favorite to win it.
Seems like they win every year, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So transitioning to the NFL now, we've had a lot of people in the NFL that have exceeded expectations, some players that really came into the season this year thinking they would be amazing and really haven't lived up to the hype. Who do you guys think has exceeded their expectations for the year so far in the NFL?
Exceeded?
Exceeded expectations, yeah.
I think the rookie Deshaun Watson from Clemson has done a really good job. I mean, his first year, and it's a shame that he's out now with the torn ACL. But he came into the league, and I thought he was league ready. They didn't start him, and once he started, he went full force. So I think he really blew up in the NFL this year.
I'd have to go with Kansas City's Kareem Hunt. I think he's had a heck of a start to his campaign. He came right out the gates from the opening night, and he's taken off. I think he's a great running back, and he's going to be good in the future as well.
Okay, so on the flip side, who do you guys think who came into the year this league, or came into the year with high expectations that really hasn't panned out?
I would go with Andy Dalton from Cincinnati because, I mean, year after year, they've been a great team, especially with the addition of A.J. Green when he got drafted by them. And this year, they've really fallen off. I mean, it was so bad to the point where they fired their offensive coordinator after like 3 games because they couldn't score a touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think it's quarterback James Winston. With Hard Knocks and all the hype around him, I've been watching ESPN. They were like some sleeper picks to win the Super Bowl, but now going 2-4, I don't really think he lived up to what he was expected to be this year.
Okay. So you guys are 2 important parts of the Rowan offense, wide receiver, running back. What's more important?
I think the receiver nowadays, because everyone has based their offenses around what the NFL has done, and nowadays it's pass-first offense, but 15, 20 years back, it was a clear landslide that running backs were the most important part, but nowadays everyone is really going through passing balls, and the receivers are getting paid the most out of receiver and running backs.
Okay.
I think it all depends on the team. I think when you look at a team like Alabama, I mean, they're completely run first, and they're dominant in the NCAA right now. You look at a team like us, our run typically opens up our pass game. We throw it off of our play action. So I think it really depends on what team you're talking about.
Okay, so last question for you guys. Is there an NFL player you guys model your games off of or try to watch tape on, try to learn from those guys?
For me, I think I'm similar to Deshaun Jackson. You know, he's tall, he's kind of built like me, and he's really fast, great routes. So I really love to see how he plays, and he's got like that passion and emotion that I try to bring to the game as well.
Okay.
I'd probably say a pass player, Mike Allstott, a former Tampa Bay guy. Just a hard-nosed runner, maybe not the fastest or the most athletic, but just runs hard.
All right, great answers, guys. Well, that is all the time we have for Rowan Roundtable. I would like to thank Anthony and JJ for being here. Cody and Derek, back to you.
Thanks, Michael. Time to kick off this segment with the football team. Cody?
Thanks, Derek. The football team's struggles continued this past week at 25th ranked Salisbury University. The Profs were shut out 33-0. Salisbury quarterback Brandon Lewis ran the ball 20 times for 125 yards and a touchdown, as well as throwing a touchdown pass. For the Profs, running back John Mannion rushed for 47 yards on 11 attempts, and Anthony Diorio ran for 39 yards on 15 carries. Quarterback Quinn Collins was 11 of 16 for 74 yards. Rowan plays its final home game on Saturday, November 4th at 1 p.m. against Montclair State University on Military Appreciation Day.
The Rowan University women's volleyball team opened the New York Regional Challenge with a 3-2 loss to SUNY Fredonia on Friday night. The set scores were 25-17, 16-25, 25-16, 19-25, and 15-13. The Profs dropped to 12-17 overall in the season. Kaylee Gallagher recorded 15 kills for the Profs, while outside hitter Taylor Monica contributed 12 kills and 14 digs. Megan Jacoby and Gina Kisley both had 9 kills, while Kisley had 11 digs and 6 blocks.
On Saturday, the women's volleyball team took on the Nazareth Golden Flyers. The Profs lost 3-1, with their downfall being a first set in which they took a while to get going, dropping the set 25-14. The team was led in kills by Kaylee Gallagher, who had 10, while also having a great defense performance by Gina Kisley, who posted 7 blocks. Their performance was rounded out by Caitlin Paxton, who had 20 assists. The other 3 sets resulted in scores of 25-23 Rowan, and Nazareth taking the final 2, 25-21 and 25-23.
The women's volleyball team hosted the Buffalo State Bengals in a tightly contested matchup. It took 5 sets to complete the match, leading to a 3-2 Bengals win. Gina Kisley and Mary Grace Testa totaled 11 kills each. Caitlin Paxton and Tori Mock both had 23 assists. The Profs dropped the final set 15-11, marking yet another close loss for them this season.
And the women's volleyball team continued to struggle this past weekend at the NJAC Championship Tournament with a 3-1 loss against number 4 ranked Montclair State University. Megan Jacoby led the Profs with 10 kills, but was outmatched this game by Montclair's Shylar White, who led the game with an impressive 15 kills. The Profs made a valiant comeback with 30 kills in their last 2 sets, compared to 12 in the first 2 sets, but it was not enough. The Profs end their season with a 12-20 record.
After the break, our Iola Gideon sits down with more members of the football team in this week's Prof Spotlight. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to All Access. Time for this week's Prof Spotlight. Joining me are Kevin Stokes and Tyler Knighton of the football team. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Let's get started. Let's be real, not an ideal season for Rowan football, but tonight let's focus on the silver linings. You guys are some excellent athletes.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Kevin, you being 10th in the conference in tackles and 18th in sacks, what other ways do you plan on leaving your football legacy here at Rowan?
I think just leaving for the coaches, like the positive vibe, regardless of how our season's going, all the young guys, all the alums, pretty much just keep that ideal mindset, be very coachable, want to get better each and every day, and become a role model for the younger kids in the program to see and want to become when they get to my point in the career.
That's excellent. Tyler, we all know how detrimental those field goal attempts are. You being 19th in field goal percentages, how do you maintain your skill and performance?
You just go out there every single week and try and go through the same process and same motions and just make sure like you always stay on top of everything and you don't like let yourself lack or get to a point where like you don't want to be out there anymore.
So it's just regular for you guys, you know, just keep it focused. You're doing this every day, so you know.
It's been 4 years, long time.
Long time. As upperclassmen, how do you guys push the team to be motivated despite certain outcomes that's happened this season?
Go ahead, Coach.
I think pretty much, like I said earlier, just be ideal, be positive about everything. You're going to have younger kids who maybe they come from a more winning program, a lot like state championship program, but you got to bring them in. We're all in the same place. We're all going for the same goal. So just keep pushing each other to be better each and every day.
This Saturday is pretty eventful. We're looking at the 57th meeting between the Profs and the Hawks. It's also the last home game. How has the team prepared for this moment?
We've been out there just acting like we have every other game. You can't control what happened in the past, but we still have opportunity to win a game this weekend, so you just have to treat it like every other game, and you just have to go into the game and disregard the record and treat it like a clean slate.
Right, that's the best mindset. What were some highlights for either of you guys during your careers?
I would have to say like freshman year, I had a four field goal game, my bad, and had like the most points in a game for a kicker in a career, so that was pretty cool, and we got a big win that day, and it led on to a really successful season.
And I feel like coming into this season, the first game against Widener University out of conference, our coach was called the Battle of the Bridge or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think coming out and having the mindset I have to have a great year, my first junior year, pretty much ever since I didn't play junior year of high school, I had to come out and show this team that we're going to be a really good team despite losing a lot of seniors the year before, and I ended up being NJAC Player of the Week that week, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Finally, tell me about the team and the bond you witnessed throughout your careers.
When I started, it was a lot of older players, like seniors and juniors, and they were the majority of the team. Mm-hmm. And now it's like completely flipped over. There's a lot of young guys. There's probably like closer to like 70% of the team is freshmen and sophomores compared to how it was vice versa when I started out.
And me coming in, I'm a year younger than Tyler on the team, but it was kind of like that trickle in between. There's not as many older guys, and it's kind of getting even with the younger guys. So you see we're all growing together, and the older guys like growing together. So we're just finding that nice mesh point in the middle right now, and I think it's starting to blend together very well.
Well, I really appreciate the answer. That is all the time we have. I'd like to thank Kevin and Tyler for coming. Cody and Derek, back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ayala. Time to throw on some goggles and give you the latest on the swimming and diving teams. Derek?
Thanks, Cody. The women's swimming and diving team took on Pace University on Friday night. However, they suffered a 94-149 defeat. The Profs earned first place in the 200 freestyle relay with a time of 1 minute 41.47 seconds, while earning second place in the 400 medley. For the single races, Miranda Coughlin won the 100 freestyle with a time of 54.32 seconds. It was the only solo race they earned first place for the night. For diving, Corinne Finkbinder earned third place on both boards.
The women's swimming and diving team traveled to Bridgeport on Saturday to take on the Purple Knights. Miranda Coughlin earned first place in the 50 and 100 freestyles, posting times of 24.62 seconds and 53.91 seconds, respectively. Alex Bambrick got first place in the 100 and 200 backstrokes, followed by Emily Kopchick getting first in the 100 breaststroke, and Gabby Gligger getting first in each of the butterfly races. The Profs came away with the win on the road, 146-106.
Friday night brought a landslide victory for the men's swimming team as they defeated Pace University 143-90. The Profs' top races consisted of the first place wins in the 400 medley and 200 freestyle. For the single races, John Tepper got first place in the 200 freestyle with a time of 1 minute 47.4 seconds, as well as a win in the 100 free at a time of 48.59 seconds. Kevin Galuli won the 50 free at a time of 20.12 seconds, and Dan Lawton won the 200 backstroke with a time of 2 minutes. In diving, both Chad Shire and Nova Shepherd got first and second place, respectively.
The men's swimming and diving team left their matchup against the University of Bridgeport with a big victory of 137-122. Dan Lawton and Matt Grubb led the way for the Profs in the 200 medley with a time of 1 minute 34.35 seconds. This was good enough for the win. The Profs also recorded a victory in the 400 freestyle relay, led by Eric Fierstein and Kevin Galuli. The Profs earned their second win of the season in 3 meets. They head to Wayne, New Jersey on November 10th to take on William Patterson.
The Division II ice hockey team had a busy weekend with 3 games over 3 days. Their first was a road game against Villanova's Division I team, in which they fell by a score of 2-1. Wildcats forward Timothy Matthews scored just 13 seconds into the game. Nick Ramos scored for the Profs with about 5 minutes left in the first period. The game-winning goal came in the second period from Jack Skaggs, and Villanova would hold on for the win. Staying disciplined was a problem for Rowan as they committed 8 penalties compared to just 3 for Nova. Profs goaltender Justin Nattiello made 31 saves on 33 shots, while Wildcats goalie John Persicilli made 28 saves on 29 shots.
The team would hit the road again the next day as they took on head coach John Caulfield's alma mater, Westchester University. They walked out of Iceland with an 11-2 dominating win. Forward Sam Meyer had 2 goals and 2 assists. Forward Anthony Delrose had 2 goals and 1 assist. And defenseman Peter Kaz had a goal and an assist. The Profs had 15 different point scorers, including 11 different goal scorers. Goaltender Justin Nattiello made 28 stops on 30 shots.
Game 3 was a big one as the Profs hosted MAC North Division rival Penn State. In a back-and-forth battle, the Ice Lions came out on top 5-4. They were led by defenseman Andrew Beck, who had 3 assists, and forward Ambrose Aquadro, who had 2 goals. For Rowan, Bobby Penrod had a goal and an assist. The 3 other goal scorers were forwards Thurston Sean, Sam Meyer, and Christopher McDermott. Penn State goaltender William Hofsforster made 48 saves on 52 shots, while Rowan goaltender Justin Nattiello made 44 saves on 49 shots. The Profs fell to 6-5 overall and 2-2 in the MAC North Division. They will be challenged again this Saturday when they host conference foe Liberty University.
That's it for All Access tonight. For Michael Penn, Ayala Gideon, Chris Devine, Derek Hill, and the entire All Access team, I'm Cody Decker. We'll see you next time.